Hello and welcome back to my channel, Happy Girl Alaska. I'm your girl, Terry, and if you're new here, welcome. So we're continuing on with the new series called Ask an Alaskan Real Estate Agent, and joining me today is none other than Jennifer Bernard, broker and owner of Next Level Realty. So before I bring her on, I want to read real quick through her bio to give you a little bit of background, and then I'll have her give whatever additional information she wants to provide about herself. So, Jennifer Bernard is a broker and owner of Next Level Realty, LLC. She has over 22 years experience selling Alaska real estate and 25 years total industry experience, specializing in residential sales in the Anchorage, Eagle River, Chugiak, and Matanuska Valley, helping hundreds of families over the years relocate to and from this beautiful state. She entered the real estate industry in 1998, working for a company called Polar Realty, which was eventually purchased by Prudential Jack White Real Estate, where she worked until she launched her company, Next Level Realty, in 2006. And 14 years later, she's still here. Jennifer is also involved in community service. She currently serves on the Credit Union One Board of Directors as treasurer. And as far as education is concerned, Jennifer holds a Master of Business Administration degree with an emphasis in entrepreneurship, a Bachelor of Arts degree in organizational management, both from Alaska Pacific University, and is currently in the final stages of completing a PhD in public policy and administration at Walden University with an emphasis in nonprofit management and leadership. Jennifer is originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, and has lived in Alaska for the past 26 years. She resides in Eagle River, Alaska with her husband and enjoys teaching business courses, working with children, family time, music, reading, traveling, and visiting her family and awesome grandchildren in the lower 48. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming Jennifer Bernard. Welcome, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you so much, Terry. I am so excited to be here with you on your show today. It's stretching me, so I believe that every day we should be learning something new. So I'm right in the vein that I should be in. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Time just goes so fast. I'm like, who is that person? Oh, it's me. Okay.
Yes.
So I just looking forward.
Oh, go ahead, Jennifer. I'm sorry. The lag is trying to kick in. Go ahead.
Just looking forward to our interview today.
Awesome. Awesome. And you have such an amazing background, and I want folks to know Jennifer is representing for the ladies here. We're in such an exciting time right now, even from a political standpoint. I don't talk about politics on this channel, so I won't get into it, but those of you who know what I'm talking about. So this is super exciting, and I'm so glad you agreed to take time out of your busy schedule to have this interview. So if you're ready, we'll go ahead and get into the questions.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So first question, Jennifer, is why should someone consider purchasing real estate in Alaska?
Very good question. Purchasing real estate in Alaska. Of course, as a real estate broker, I'm going to tell you purchasing real estate in any state is a good choice because it's an excellent investment. But also purchasing real estate in Alaska it's a great way to get started in business. The property values are stable and they appreciate over time. So it's really a matter of starting a portfolio, to say. So it's an investment opportunity, and purchasing real estate is one way to do that. So the whole goal with investments and real estate and so forth is to invest at one price and possibly sell down the road for a much higher price. So real estate fits right in that vein, and it's an excellent opportunity to get out there and get started with investing, and you get to enjoy the property. You get to enjoy the investment while you own it. So The real estate in Alaska typically appreciates. So when you purchase property, you're going to purchase it at one price. And then over time, the values are going to increase. And down the road, if you choose to sell the property, or when you choose to sell the property, you will sell the property and then you will have what's called equity. So you will actually get more for it than what you paid for it. So that's one of the reasons that purchasing real estate is a great choice, and purchasing real estate in Alaska is a great choice as well. So the interest rates are really low, and we'll probably chat about that at some point, but it's just a great way to get started with your financial investments. Real estate's a great one.
Perfect. So real quick question for you, Jennifer. Do you find that you have quite a few people that maybe live outside the state of Alaska look for purchasing vacation homes, you know, as someplace that they can use maybe as a getaway? So not necessarily that they're snowbirds, but they've heard about our beautiful Alaskan summers and maybe they look to purchase vacation homes here.
Absolutely. And that group of people seems to be growing over the years. So yes, you mentioned our beautiful Alaskan summers, and that is one of the key perks to living in Alaska. Now, we won't talk about the winters too much, but the summers are beautiful. And it depends on what you like. If you like winter sports and snow and cold, then it's a fabulous place in the winter as well. So we all have different likes. So yes, that number of folks that are looking to have second properties, income properties, vacation homes, second homes, that is a growing number of people. And depending on where you choose in Alaska, if you are an avid hunter, that's very popular to be out in some of the outer areas, the Kenai areas and the different peninsulas, and some of the Matsu areas are great for hunting. Then if you're into fishing like myself, which is one of the reasons that I stay in Alaska, because I love to fish for salmon and halibut. So you might be interested in some of the properties that might be, again, the Kenai Peninsula area, Homer, Valdez. There are lots of beautiful places with different sporting events and fishing and hunting and all types of things like that that would be great for vacation homes. And a little R&R never hurts anybody as well.
Absolutely. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so let's move into our second question here. And so this question is, can you describe what the real estate purchase experience is like when you are working with potential buyers located outside the state of Alaska? So this kind of ties into that question I was asking about the vacation homes, but maybe you have someone who's looking to relocate. How does your company work with those folks who are located outside the state?
Sure. So I believe that communication is key. So the first thing is that you really have to communicate with your clients. When I have clients coming in from the lower 48, as we call it, I try to connect with them and communicate and have conversations about what they're looking for, maybe the reason that they're relocating. Are they in the military? I work with lots of military clients, my military members. If they're relocating for jobs or different careers, I try to find out what's bringing them to our beautiful state. And there are many, many different reasons. Some people are coming for work, as I said. Some are in the military, being transferred. That's how we got here 25 years ago. My husband was in the Air Force, and that brought us here, and we ended up liking it and staying. So I reach out to them and find out what it is they're looking for and what their needs are. So communication is key. And it typically starts about 3 to 6 months before they're planning on being here. So our markets are a little different as far as pricing compared to some of the areas in the lower 48. And some of the areas in the lower 48 are higher than Alaska, but we're in the mid to high range as far as prices are concerned. So the first thing I do is send them information on our market, because I don't want them to come and get sticker shock, is what we call it. So you're coming from North Carolina, and you might, our homes might be 100 to 200,000 more than what you're typically accustomed to seeing prices. So that's the first thing that I try to do. I educate them on the Alaska market and send them homes and give them websites and pictures, because of social media, things have really changed over the years. I've been doing this, as Terry said, over 22 years. And, 22 years ago, the way we did business is totally different from the way we do business now in 2020. So because of social media, the information is readily available to clients. So most of the time once I connect with them, they know much more about Alaska than previous clients back in the day. So the people that come to us now, they know more about Alaska than I do sometimes as far as what's going on. And, they already a lot of times will have an idea of the area that they're interested in. They're more so looking for confirmation from me, being here and having been here and having that day-to-day experience for years. They ask for my input. So I try to communicate the best that I can, get them informed on our market. There are steps that we work with lenders, get them into see lenders if they're going to be using financing, so that we can have that all worked out prior to them coming. A lot of times they will come out just for a test drive, so to speak. They might come out for a few days, and it's a very short period of time, 3 to 4 days sometimes, if they're just going to be here in the area. And I will line up homes during that time. Sometimes we look at maybe 15 homes during that 3 to 4 days, just to kind of hit it and quit it, so to speak, and just get out there and see as many houses as they can see to get an idea of what they're actually looking for. Then we get that their needs narrowed down and kind of help them work through those things. And sometimes they go ahead and go back and they leave it in my hands. They say, okay, we looked at all these houses. This is what we're looking for. You know what we want. I know what you want. I'll find your house. Go on back to the lower 48 and I'll be in touch. So then I use social media. Sometimes I go through with FaceTime, and we FaceTime the houses and do all these wonderful things that we can do because of technology. So the main thing is that they're comfortable and that we communicate and keep those lines of communication open. And then once I know what they're looking for, there is no problem. I have no problem with that. I've helped so many people come to the state and leave the state. So once I find out what their needs are, when I find the house that works for them, I pretty much know when I see it. So that's kind of how we do it. Now, it all varies time frame, but that's it in a nutshell.
Perfect. That was a really great overview, Jennifer. And what I wanted to ask you, because you brought up a really great point, folks may be looking at home buying from the standpoint of what they're currently able to afford while they're living in the lower 48. But once they move up here, like you said, they may experience sticker shock. Are there any online tools that you recommend folks can maybe take a look at or use ahead of time in order to get an idea of what they may be able to afford once they move here?
I think the best thing to do is to have an appointment with a local lender, or it doesn't have to be a local lender, but a lender that at least has market knowledge for Alaska. And they can work up some spreadsheets and kind of give you some scenarios and give you pointers on what you're comfortable with. Now, the flip side of having a little higher prices here, that most of the jobs, the wages are higher here as well. And so when military and government people are relocating to Alaska, they get COLA, which is the cost of living allowance. So they get increased pay for being here. So that's a perk, so to speak. So it kind of balances out. So yes, it is a little more expensive to live in Alaska, but typically you're going to be earning higher incomes here as well. So that needs to, all of that should be taken into consideration before you decide on a price that you're comfortable with.
Absolutely. All right. So let's move on to our next question here.
Great.
So I'd be interested to get your perspective on this. Would you say is now a good time to purchase real estate in Alaska, given the financial impacts we are seeing with COVID?
Absolutely. I think, I say this all the time. Now is always a good time. And it depends on your family's needs. But we are experiencing some challenges right now that we haven't experienced before. And we're kind of all dating our way through, but we are resilient, and I believe that we'll bounce back. But as a result of COVID, some of the good things are that the interest rates are at historically low rates. Interest rates are running just right around 3% or less, 2.5, 2.65, 2.75, depending on certain qualification criteria. So interest rate wise, this is a excellent time to purchase. If you have been sitting on the fence, wondering, should I stay or should I go? This is the time, go. So any real estate person that doesn't tell you that may not be the right person for you. I have been busy. I mean, everything that you would think that would keep people, and I've heard this from not just real estate, different industries. The banks are busy. They are doing loans. People are taking loans. People in sales and service are busy. Contractors are busy. Everyone is busy. And I think part of the problem is we've been so busy with our lives, working and going to school and just in that day to day, we really haven't had the opportunity to stay home. I have not been at home as much as I have in the past 6 months in my entire life.
Right.
So
yeah.
This has given us time, so to speak, to reflect back in. Some people realize our house is not big enough for all of us. We've been here for a couple of years, 3 years. Everybody's growing. I need my own space. They need their own space. So maybe this is a great time for us to upsize. And the flip side of that, some people say, oh, well, I've been here for 20 years. It's just me now. I don't need all this house anymore. This is a great time to sell because there are a lot of buyers out there looking. And in certain price ranges, they're just going so quickly. We cannot keep enough nice properties on the market. So yes, this is an excellent time. Now, there are challenges associated with particular industries. Realize that those industries have been impacted immensely. Tourism they've probably bared the brunt of this COVID ordeal. And then the restaurants, the business owners are also having challenges as well. But as far as if you're not in those two industries, I mean, that the time is right. And if you are in those industries and you're thinking of selling, that could be something that could get you over the hump until this passes. So if you have equity in your home and you need to get money for your business and you've tried these other avenues and they haven't worked or provided enough income, that is something that you could always do. You could sell your property and do something temporarily. And as I said, being in business, you have to be flexible and resilient. So you have to think quick on your feet, and that's something that you could tap into in a time when you need it. And that's what an investment is about. You are able to draw on that money when you need it. So yes and yes.
Great. That's great news. And you know what? That really is in line with, I did an interview with Michael from RMG Real Estate just previously here, and he said the same thing. Now is an optimal time to purchase real estate. All right, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so here's my next question for you. I was interested to know, how is your real estate company taking precautions to protect potential buyers during the pandemic?
Oh, yes. So we have definitely changed. Some of the things that we do are different. So first of all, we are following all the government mandates. We're following the mandates. So showing properties is much different than pre-COVID is what I call it. So what we do, first of all, we have paperwork that is required. So our potential clients have to fill out paperwork that says that they are not ill, that they don't have COVID, or that they haven't been exposed to anyone with COVID. So that's pretty much the first step. So you can't have any of those symptoms, fever, feel like you're catching a cold or sick or anything, and go out and communicate and look at properties. So we are, as realtors, protecting ourselves as well as the families of our clients and protecting the families of the homes that we are showing. So what we do, we are masked up. We all wear masks and gloves to protect, and so that we are not passing or don't open the opportunity to pass on any germs. So that's one of the things that we do. We ask that the sellers of the homes, we ask for them to turn on all the lights at the property. We ask for them to open all the interior doors so that we are able to just get in and get out without touching surfaces. So that's some of the things that we do. And some of the sellers will wipe down the counters. We advise that everything be wiped down with disinfectant prior to and after showings. And we try to limit our showings. We're not just out joyriding, so to speak. We're out with qualified people that are going to make a purchase within the next few months. Not so much people that are thinking about it. If we take you out, we really want you to be serious about purchasing and serious about moving forward so that we have the least amount of exposure as possible. Some of our sellers provide shoe coverings as well. So when you come in, you can just put those on your shoes and you just walk around, and then you can just throw those away when you leave. So it really is about safety. What I try to do is not to talk about the home when we're inside the home. So we spend less time inside the home. What I try to do is just go through the property, look at everything, and then we can come outside and discuss it so that we don't have to stand inside the property and have long conversations, which again are just opening up the opportunity to spread the virus. So I'm very, very serious about health and proactive. So I believe that we should be doing anything possible to stop the spread and flat curve, so to speak. So yes, all of my clients, I tell them ahead of time, bring your mask. So there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I have extra in my trunk just in case you forget. So we are very, very serious about that and serious about being healthy and keeping everyone else as healthy as possible during this time. Can't wait for it to be over, but for right now, we're dealing with it to the best that we can.
Excellent. Yeah, I thought it was so interesting. So I had a coworker who recently purchased a home, and what he said is that the seller requested for them to wear a mask, gloves, and the coverings for the shoes. And I thought that was really interesting, the cover for the shoes. But I guess, if you're wanting to make sure that you're covering all your bases, I guess. That was interesting though. Yeah, people are being very diligent about making sure that potential buyers and the sellers are protected, and the agents, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we've also cut down on our open houses. Typically, we would have open houses more often.
Oh, okay.
Open houses to a minimum. We have virtual tours that are available. Some of the agents are doing open houses. I personally am not comfortable with that as yet. I know that some people are still doing them, and they're doing okay with it as long as everyone follows those steps. But I do believe that it should be a minimal. It should be not on our regular level that we would do them every weekend or whatever.
Right.
If the new construction is a little different, they can have them more often because oftentimes new construction, the builder has people that can go in and clean and disinfect. But it's just the cleanliness and the disinfecting part is a very important aspect of it.
Great. All right. So Jennifer, we're getting to our last question here. Wow, the time just really flew by.
It does.
Okay, so here's a question that I'm sure everyone is waiting for you to answer, and that is, how can someone who lives outside Alaska find a good realtor to work with?
Oh, yes, that is a good one. That's a good one. And it kind of goes back to what I had said earlier about communicating, and communication is key. I think most folks start today with technology. So you might start with a search on social media, searching agents or licensees, as we call them, in the area. And you might find someone that you can kind of connect with and follow that person and get information and watch shows like your show to get information about the area. That's kind of one way to get it started. And then back to the old tested and proven techniques, you could always work with referral. See, a lot of people already know people that have lived in Alaska at some point in time, believe it or not.
That's true.
Referrals are great. I do probably 80 to 90% of my business is through referral. So someone that's had a good experience with someone, a realtor here in Alaska, the best thing to do is to reach out to your friends and family to see if anyone knows anyone that lives in Alaska. And 9 times out of 10, somebody will. You'll put it out there. I'm going to be, I got orders, especially for military folks. I'm headed to Anchorage, Alaska, or headed to Fairbanks, Alaska. Does anybody know anybody in the area? I have gotten so many texts and emails about, oh, I've got a family member that's coming to the area and they would love to meet you. And I know you've been there a long time. So yeah, just the old school reaching out for referrals is excellent. And because of social media and technology, it's a lot easier than it was at first. So once you find someone that seems like, you kind of can relate to the person, which you really won't know until you talk to them, because sometimes we know it appears one way, it may not be the way it appears, but we'll stay away from that. If you reach out to that person, try to talk to them, email them, text them, or just try to make a connection with them and see if they seem like somebody that you could have a relationship, because real estate is a relationship. Because first of all, with most businesses, you're not with your client for that long of time. So with real estate, we might be in your life for a month, maybe 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, depending on what you're looking for and how it all comes about. Sometimes a year. So that's a long time. So
that is. Yeah.
That's a relationship. So it should be someone that you're comfortable with, someone that you trust, and someone that is knowledgeable on our area and the practices. So I say referral, referral, referral. That's number one. And then at least that can narrow it down for you a little bit. And then from there, just talk with them, interview them, and tell them what your needs are and what you're looking for them to do. And make sure that they can meet those needs, because sometimes the needs are beyond what we can deliver. We are agents and we're licensees, but we're not super people. So if if we can't meet those needs, a good person will tell you, we can't do it, but this is what we can do. It's not a no, but it's a revised approach. So yes, reach out to the people that already have been here or lived here at some point in time, and then you can kind of take it from there. And I say, go with your gut. If you've got a good feeling about the person, it's probably okay. If something about them, you can't quite figure it out, then you might want to look at a few more people.
Right. And you know what? That's really great advice, Jennifer, because purchasing a home is such a huge milestone, right?
Absolutely.
In your life, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. You want that experience to be enjoyable. You have an excellent track record, and yeah. And so, I would also say, what about video chat? Do you all video chat with potential home buyers too? Is that another way?
And that is another way. Pretty much all the technology is out there and open grabs, and there are new things that come up all the time. I mean, Zoom, all this stuff. There are tons of different ways. Now, I haven't had to meet with a client by Zoom yet, but I mean, that is definitely an avenue that's out there. And
I have the feeling that's about to start happening, Jennifer.
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And a lot of it's happening so fast. It's just evolving. Right. Every day it's just something new that we're doing. So yeah, we've actually started to have real estate meetings via Zoom. And so, yeah, I would not say that that's probably very close on the forefront.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to be an avenue for that is my final question for you is, how can people get in contact with you? What are your social medias? Whatever avenues we can use to reach out to you. Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So I am on Facebook. So our company is Next Level Realty. And it's Next Level Realty. It's connected to my Jennifer Bernard Facebook account. So I have a ton of information there about buying and selling, and lots of information about selecting licensees, mortgage information. It's pretty much just a wealth of information about real estate. So you could just scroll through those pages and I'm there. I'm still working on the Instagram thing. I have to get there.
There are so many different platforms out there. It's hard to keep up with them all. I'm guilty of that. So.
It is. So LinkedIn is one of the ones that I use, LinkedIn and Facebook. And if you Google Jennifer Bernard, Anchorage Real Estate, you will find me. And I'm always available, old school. If you call me on my telephone, I will answer. So text message, but I am on social media. Absolutely. Jennifer Bernard, Next Level Realty, Anchorage, Alaska.
All right. And Jennifer, I will be sure to include all of your contact information down in the description box.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yes, of course, of course. So, you know what? I want to kind of hand it over to you. If you want to take a few minutes to just kind of, whatever else you want to add before we wrap up here.
Sure, sure. I would just say that for those folks that are sitting on the fence and trying to determine if ownership is something that we should be doing, I know there's a lot of mixed information about whether you should purchase or not purchase at this time. And I read something the other day that the American dream is changing and so on and so forth. And I would just like to say that purchasing a home or condo or anything that you can put your name on it that you own is a good choice. Renting is great, and I'm a landlord myself, so I would say renting is great, and it has its time and place. But if you're coming to Anchorage, Alaska, or our surrounding areas, and you think that you will be here for longer than 3 years, I think that purchasing is something that you should definitely consider. Reach out. I'd be happy to give you any information that you would like and consult with you on the advantages and disadvantages of owning. There are more advantages than there are disadvantages. So if that's something that is on your horizon, I would say reach out, get as much information about it as you can, and make an informed decision. So just, we can't just listen to what the media tells us to do, but do your own research, and then you be the judge and you make your own informed decision. And I would be happy to help you with that. Again, it's Jennifer Bernard, Next Level Realty.
All right. Excellent. Well, you know what, Jennifer, this has been such an enjoyable experience. Thank you so much again for lending your knowledge, your wisdom, advice, all of that to be here with us and share that. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. Get in contact with Jennifer with all of your real estate questions, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.